A couple million feet all cash, baby. I eat a little cheese and a rash, baby. I eat a little cheese like snack, baby.
What's going on, YouTube? Back with another video. Today's video is episode 8 of the YouTube series Breaking Through Mental Health with Briah Nelson. You know when you follow these people on social media where you never actually met them, but you'll talk to them sometimes, you'll hype them up, you'll support them. That's one of them. Never met her in my life. Just kind of support each other through social media. Basketball kind of connected us, so that's how we followed each other. I feel like we all have those social media friends that we just kind of hype each other up. So before we bring her on here, I'm just gonna give a little intro on her. She played basketball and volleyball in high school, played at Santa Monica College for 2 years on the basketball team, transferred to Bethesda University in Anaheim, retired from the game due to injury. She was a trainer at Anaheim College. She started modeling and got into social media marketing, started up her own dropshipping store, changed degrees and went to fashion school at FIDM, Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in LA, and now she is a FOREX trader. With all that being said, I'd like to welcome Briah Nelson for episode 8. What is going on?
Is going on, girl? It has been a long time since I last talked with you, but I'm super glad that we are now here. Super grateful that you even asked me to be here, so thank you for that. And yeah, I'm ready to get to it.
Of course, first time actually seeing you in person, so it's been a long time coming.
For real.
So just talk a little bit about yourself, background, so the people know who you are.
So my name is Briah Nelson. I have played basketball pretty much majority of my life now. I'm 25 years old. I am the oldest of 4. I have both my parents, super grateful for them. I am now currently doing Forex trading or investing, however you want to put it. I definitely took a lot for me to get here at this point, though. I had a journey for sure. So yeah.
Awesome. So why do you think, you're an athlete yourself, why do you think there's this stigma on mental health in the sports world?
Stigma on mental health. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like people get this persona of being when people are, or whoever is an athlete, especially in the college and pro setting, people kind of forget that we're human at the end of the day, rather than just an athlete. And as a human, we all go through certain things. So I don't know about you, but like growing up playing basketball, it was always like game is 90% mental, 10% skill. And when they said that, I don't think they really understood, like, okay, well then where do we focus on that mental part, So not until I did get older did I actually understand, like, it's okay to feel certain ways for certain game or during a game, or certain things like that, where it wasn't really addressed, so it made people feel uncomfortable as myself. But I think now with the whole mental health, being that it is a lot more out there, and it's starting.
It's okay.
So sorry. It's okay. And being that it's just now, like I said, it's out in the world where people are now looking at it at a point from it's important, and it is at the end of the day. And I'm really excited that sports are taking it a lot more serious. But yeah, so.
Oh, okay. So you spent some time in the basketball industry, modeling, fitness, fashion, and now you're a Forex trader. So through all those stages in your life, what was some of the toughest challenges mentally that you went through while navigating through all that?
Oof. I can start with saying, once I got my injury playing basketball, and I was pretty much forced to stop playing at one point and just being patient for that injury to heal, that was probably my lowest point. Lowest in a sense of figuring out what else Briah was, because at the time I didn't understand that basketball didn't define me. At the time, Briah was basketball and basketball was Briah. So going through that whole mental aspect of trying to figure out, like, basketball is just a byproduct of who you are, So not having certain people in my, or who I thought would be helping me throughout my journey wasn't. So it was a mixture of certain relationships, figuring out who I was, going on to the journey of then leaving basketball. I stopped playing back in 2018. And that was my last year. So after that, 2 years later, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. You know, people always tell you to have a plan B when it comes to sports, but as an athlete, you're like, yeah, okay, you know, but not until it actually sinks in was I really like, okay, I got to figure something out. So that's when I started to tap into social media marketing specifically. And I started to fall in love with that. And it's so funny because at the time, like growing up, I always was into marketing. I just never really tapped into it enough because basketball was my number one priority. So I started tapping into that a little bit. I was able to then get my own drop shipping store online, started to fall in love with it. And so that's what I was doing for a period of time. And I was making money on the side with it. I was doing pretty well. And then I was working at Steve Madden, and one of my coworkers had told me that FITM, the fashion school, actually had a major specifically for social media marketing. So in my head, I'm just like, why not? I was going to a small private school at the time because of basketball, but after basketball ended for me, I didn't necessarily want to stay there. So I ended up applying to that school, ended up falling in my lap, long story short. And so I started attending fashion school. Well, instead of taking a social media marketing major, I ended up taking a fashion major. So then that again was just a whole other leap where I was just like, you know what, why not? At this point, why not? And fashion was another love of mine that again, I just didn't tap into. So I was in that for another 2 years. And then now I'm here as a Forex trader. This opportunity actually fell in my lap last year of 2020, the year we all remember, September of 2020. And ever since then, it has done a full 360 in my life, financially, spiritually, mentally, physically, everything. But yeah.
That's tough. Okay. So, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but we all reach a stage where we kind of contemplate, like, all right, who am I? What's my purpose? What do I want to do in life? So, is there something that was holding you back from finding that purpose? You know, a lot of people are kind of scared, kind of talked about it a little bit, that leap of faith. They're scared to make that leap, just lack of confidence. So was there something that was holding you back from finding your true purpose?
At the time, back in 2018, yes, absolutely. And that was, I'm spiritual, very spiritual. And at the time I was going against what I was going with what I wanted to do, which was play basketball until I was forced to stop. And when I was forced to stop, that's when I really had to take a step back. That's when I kind of started to fix my relationship with God. And through that, I can honestly say it gave me the strength to tap into new things, to not be scared to tap into new things. I know that's definitely easier said than done, but it got to a point in my life where it was just like, it's either this or nothing. Like I didn't see any other option. You know what I'm saying? So as I took that leap onto fashion school, coming into my purpose, it's kind of funny because even fashion school, looking back, it wasn't my purpose, but I allowed myself to fall into where I'm at now, which I can say is my purpose, just because I was willing to take risks. And I think us millennials, I'm 25, so it's one of those things where it's, why are you so scared to take the risk? We're in our 20s. This is the time to do it more than ever. So, and that's what I did, and it allowed me to end up here. And where I follow my purpose, in this avenue, is simply being able to let people believe in themselves, allow people to believe in themselves. I've always, I can say I've always had a gift that I was always scared to actually reach, which was gravitating naturally to people to speak life into them.
Yeah.
And so even with basketball, it's kind of funny. It's actually really funny. Basketball, it was a platform where, you know, you have captains on your team and coaches choose the captain, whatever. well, coaches would choose me as a captain, but I wasn't assertive enough. I wasn't talkative enough. I wasn't boosting my team how I should have. And it's crazy because I knew all the things I should do. It just wasn't the right platform for me. Like now looking back, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't coming out of my comfort zone. And it's also a growth thing because I definitely could have, but at the time I just wasn't ready. And so now with this platform, it's so much bigger than just trading. It really, really is. And I feel like a lot of people misconstrued. But at the end of the day, I found the purpose where I have a platform now where I can actually not only help people put money in their pockets, but allow them to believe that they don't have to work a 9 to 5. They don't have to go out and stick with what society has laid out for a majority of us. You know what I'm saying? We can have the value of our time back. We can travel the world whenever we want. Like limitless is literally, everything is limitless for anyone. So that's what I find passion in this route that I'm in now with Forex trading. It's like I said, it's changed my life. I was able to quit my 9 to 5 4 months into this. So not only am I a testimony to it, but now it's passion to where it's just like, yo, you can too. Don't look at me like, oh, no, like I want you here to do it with me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that I know it's a long story, but
we want to hear all that and more. So that's good. Yeah, just watching on social media, your videos, like when you speak to people, it's like it's different. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I feel like you really tapped into what you really like in your purpose, like you said. So
appreciate it. I appreciate it. And the whole modeling thing, it's kind of funny with modeling. It's always just been like a little side hustle. It was never something that I knew I like. At one point it was just like, F it, let me be a fitness model, because people were like, Brie, you should be a fitness model. I'm just like, okay, let me be. And then I was starting and I was just like, this is cool on the side, but like forever, nah, like this isn't me, you know? So that's what, with the whole modeling thing, it's just more for like a side hustle.
I feel like sometimes you have to do things in order to get what you actually want. Even though those things aren't really what you want, it's going to get to where you need to be.
Exactly.
No matter how spiritual we are, positive, it doesn't matter. We all go through bad days. So on your bad days, what motivates you to kind of keep going and just stay positive and mentally, healthy?
That's a great question. I'm actually learning through this now. With motivation, I have came to realize that motivation is going to come and go.
Yeah.
So what keeps me going is discipline. And that self-discipline it's a work in progress right now. But now I have the awareness that, sometimes motivation just isn't going to be there. And that's natural. But I feel like where most people fail is they wait for that motivation to kick in to then go tap into whatever it is that they got to be doing. And it's kind of like you're wasting time, because that motivation could kick in 2 months from now. You know what I'm saying? And then 2 months go by and who knows what you could have gotten done. So what keeps me going is, of course, my why, which is my family more than anything. But I would say right now in this time frame, my why is focusing strictly really on me to get myself right, because once I get myself right, then I know I can get my family right. And once I get my family right, then we can talk about bigger and better things. But so self-discipline, that's really what keeps me going at the end of the day, because I know some days are going to be harder than the others. Some days I'm not going to feel like it, but you just got to keep going.
Thanks. So you're big on growth. We're constantly evolving and changing. So what's one habit that was really the game changer for you and kind of just completely turned your life around in all aspects, especially mentally?
One habit. I would have to say a morning routine, honestly.
Yeah. I need to do that too.
Weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
A morning routine literally sets the tone. I remember telling myself, I'm like, you know what? Let me just try it out. So I tried it out for a week and I felt so good. Even when things were not good, I was good. You know what I'm saying?
And it's because you woke up early.
You woke up early.
Yeah.
You tapped into whatever it is you want to do within that time frame. And then you get your mind right before you even talk to anyone else. And then it's kind of funny because when you wake up early, the world is so quiet. Like now, you know what I'm saying? Now you're so in tune with yourself. I woke like for an hour at least, where it's just like when everyone starts to wake up, you're like, damn, But at the end of the day, yeah, morning routine changed the game for me.
That's what's up. So a lot of people that struggle with mental health disorder, it's important for them to have a great support system. And so when you have a friend who battles with a mental health disorder, some people just don't know how to react to it, either because they don't have enough information on mental health, it's a sensitive topic, so they kind of shy away from it. So with you personally, let's say you have a friend who has mental health disorder, how would you kind of deal with it for those who are listening who just don't know how to approach a situation like that?
Like as a friend to my friend, if my friend was going through it, I personally, I like to listen more than talk. So that would be number one. I would listen, just hear them out and just continue to listen. And before you know it, you will kind of catch on to what it is that maybe you can help them out with, The first thing though, I would always ask what it is that you want, number one. Because a lot of things we stress about, it's kind of funny, either happened in the past, not realizing the past literally doesn't exist anymore, or we stress about certain things, our circumstances that are going on right now. And so when you ask someone what it is that they want, you'll be surprised how many people really don't know.
Yeah.
And so when you ask them that question, they think a little bit about it. And then my next question would be, what makes you happy? What makes you feel good? Those two things, even if certain things don't go right, if you feel good and if you're just happy, you'll be able to get through it, or you will feel like you'll be able to get through it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where a lot of that disconnect is people don't feel like they can get through whatever it is that they're getting through. And in reality, you can, but you got to ask yourself what makes you happy, and whatever it is, start doing it. And what makes you feel good, whatever it is, start doing it. Just start off with those two things. And then once you start off with those two things, you'll start to feel good in order to now progress into whatever it is that you got to fix, whatever it is that you got to go through, So that's kind of how I approach it, because at the end of the day, I don't like trying to be like, no, you got to do this, that, and the third, when in reality, it's like, maybe I haven't even gone through what you're going through right now. But what I do know is that right now, everything is negative. So how can we change that into a positive? Let's start first with what makes you feel good, what makes you happy.
Right. Thanks. Okay, so next one would be, you're a great speaker, you motivate others really well, which is the main reason why I wanted you to be part of this interview. I feel like you had some really good words. So when you talk to people at the end of the conversation, what do you want them to learn? Like a few things that you want them to take away with them, kind of like a lesson or a message or whatever it is. What are your talking points during that conversation?
When I end the conversation, I want to make sure that they feel empowered to be able to do whatever the heck they want to do, no matter if the closest person to them tells them not to. I was through experience majority of my life, and I think it started because I am the oldest of 3 or 4, so having to take care of them all the time, I was always just naturally willing to put others before me, until it got to a point where it's just like, no, what does Briah want? And so I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part of that question?
Basically, like, what are your talking points, like, at the end of the conversation?
At the end of the convo? Yeah, so it's more of like, yo, if I want to do this, I'm going to go do it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that whoever is done, I want to make sure that they know that Briah made me feel like I could be able to do anything I want in this world, which in fact you can, and that's where I feel, again, when my gift comes into play. It took me forever to actually admit it and accept it, because I'm not talkative. I'm really not, but this business has forced me to literally talk to strangers, come across, you know what I'm saying? Like things that shy Briah would
into your potential. I said really tap in your potential.
Exactly. Yep. So yeah, that's kind of like the route I usually always go with, because a lot of people do come to me with advice, and a lot of the time it's like, the only answer I really have for them is just, yo, do it. Like, just do it.
Simple, but
Let it stop
straight
you,
up.
man. Life is crazy, for sure.
So last question, what's your final advice to athletes who are struggling with a mental health disorder, even individuals who are doing what you do now, Forex trading? What's your advice to them who are struggling with a mental health disorder?
For athletes, you said?
Yeah, athletes or even individuals in your field, like just what you've done, what would you recommend to those people that are kind of similar to your, lifestyle?
Figure out what you want first. And after you figure out what you want, align yourself with it. Back last year, I was still 25 last year, or around September of last year, I should say. I was working at 9 to 5. I was working at T-Mobile. Okay. I was a full-time student, but even as a full-time fashion student, I didn't know what route in fashion I wanted to go to. I just put myself in there because I was like, okay, cool. This is something I can do. But I was doing just those two things. And I'm sitting at T-Mobile and I'm like, bro, I'm 5 years away from 30. And I'm thinking about where I wanted Briah at 30 years old, right? I wanted to be at least six figures up. I want to be able to be fully independent, my own spot, so on and so forth. And I'm like, if I stick to this in the next 3 years, because I wasn't going to graduate till like 3 years from now. I'm like, there's absolutely no way. I can't see that happening. You know what I'm saying? So then I started to ask myself, okay, this is what you want, but you're not aligning yourself right now with what it is that you want. So when it comes to the whole mental disorder, have your own back and be your own best friend. I think a lot of people they take for granted themselves, like you have so much in you and the power you have in you. It's amazing. So it's like, if you can't be your own best friend, you can't expect anyone else to.
It all starts with you.
It all starts with you, yeah. So show yourself first some love, show some compassion. Again, do what makes you happy, do what makes you feel good. And then from there, ask yourself what it is that you want. After you figure that out, then make sure what you're doing right now is aligning with that to make it happen. We go through time, and time doesn't even exist, honestly. If you really think about it, it's like, what's time? But yes, we all have 24 hours in a day. So whatever you do with those 24 hours, like, make it, you can't change time, but you can change your priorities within it, So make your priority you, number one. Make it you. Don't have the distraction of taking care of other people. And if you do have kids or if you have family that you got to take care of course, do that. But make sure you get yours in first. So if you got to wake up at 5 a.m., wake up at 5, do that morning routine in order to get your mind right. But yeah, that would probably be my main thing, is just keep you as number one. Love yourself as much as you can. Be your own best friend through everything. Another thing, the self-sabotage will eat anybody alive. And I think that self-sabotage comes from, it stems from fear, doubt, all of that, and when you have fear, it'll redirect you to something completely of what it is that you're not doing, number one. But then it'll also get in the way of that clear vision, that this is what I want, so I'm gonna go get it. It's gonna definitely cloud that for you if you let it enter. And we all have those little voices in our head. We all do. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's gonna force you to be able to hop out of that? It's got to be something bigger than you. We focus so much on ourselves sometimes, rather than just going outside and helping someone freaking pick up an orange that they dropped, or you know what I'm saying, or paying for someone's Starbucks. Like, take the focus off of you and you'll be surprised how much more you get in return. You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk about karma, however you want to see it, like, at the end of the day, however much you put out towards other people, to serve people, to give them value on a daily basis, that's what's going to come back tenfold automatically. And so that's another thing too. It's like, yeah, love yourself. Yeah, be compassionate, but also take the focus off of you. It's not just about you. We're not here just to fulfill you. Instead, your purpose should be, if you really discover your purpose, you'll understand that the magnitude is to help other people. So when we hear people say, oh, I hate people, it's like, nah, bro, you got to love them. And like, we know sometimes people really mean that. Like, I hate people. And I'm just like, but
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like, just even if they don't mean it, the words that we speak, can I touch on this real quick? Because the words that we speak
is all yours.
Okay. Because the words that we speak on a daily basis, people do not understand that you simply saying, damn, what's wrong with me, will literally affect, and it'll keep going, because you don't just say it one day. Majority of the time, people will continuously say it, let's say for like a month straight, and then something happens within that month, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And in reality, it's like, no, you literally brought this into fruition, because remember 2 weeks ago, down the line, you were talking about this, that, and the third. Like, no, your words, every single thing that you speak, like, look at yourself in the mirror and speak life into yourself every single day. People say I am affirmations are corny. Nah, try it out in your morning routine. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually it's going to feel corny, but then you're going to actually start to believe it. Once you start to believe it, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So,
the whole game just changed.
Whole game just changed. And then that's when you start, the confidence kicks in. That's when everything starts to just come together. And then now you're unstoppable. So, yeah, it's kind of funny, because the mental disorder, and another thing is too, is like, don't see it as a mental disorder. The second you see it as a mental disorder, you've already lost. Yeah, people, they put that stigma, they put that name on there, but honestly, you tell someone they have a mental disorder, if someone accepts that they have a mental disorder, it's going to be a lot harder for them to jump out of that. You've already accepted it. Like when they say losers lose and winners lose, but winners don't accept that loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you accept it, then that's when you lost. As a winner, winners lose all the time, but they don't accept that loss. The losers accept that loss, which makes them that loser. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say.
Damn, that's how you end an interview. I'm sure a lot of people out there are like, damn, that's a lot to unpack, and like really gonna reflect, like, okay, and really listen to what you gotta say, because that was good. So
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you for coming in, talking to the people. Like I said, you had some good stuff to say, so thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing this, but looking forward more so just to seeing you flourish on this, because this is dope. This is really cool. I like how you said all this, and you're interviewing tons of people, getting different perspectives. So this is nice for sure.
Appreciate that. Like you said, gotta help other people, not just yourself. So
Man,
that's the goal.
I feel it.
That is interview 8. As expected, Briah did not disappoint with the interview. Straight hustler, motivator, just a really great person in general. I've said this before, no matter how positive you are, it's always appreciated when you receive just motivation, good vibes from other people. I'm in a really good place in life, but it doesn't hurt to receive motivation like that, to just a reminder to keep going and to stay up. I hope this interview impacted you in a positive way, just like it did with me, and I hope that you'll continue to tune in into these interviews on the topic of mental health. You already know what to do. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you underdogs later.
I'm breaking chains. Yeah. Tell me feeling bubbly off the rose. Friends turn to foes, haters tell them go away. Rappers making shiggy dance like a soul train.